Once you've coded your song in Scratch, now you can animate your sprite by having it move to the beat of the music. So there's two ways you can do this. One is you can move or turn the sprite, and the second is you can change its costume. So let's start with the first one. So you have your different choice types of code here on the left side, and you have one at the very top that says motion. That's one we're going to use for moving the sprite to the beat of the music. So there's different ones we can use here, but the easiest ones, we're just going to look at these top three, the moving and then the turning. So in order to have the sprite move to the beat of music, we simply just take the move one and we put it before the note that we're going to play. So if I do this, watch what happens. Let's just do a few of these. I'm going to put one before each of these ones here. And when I play this, right, you notice that it moved as soon as the note it moved. And what happens is it's actually moving first because it's sequential, but because this computer is so fast, once it moves, it pretty much plays the note simultaneously. Now you notice what's happening is my sprite was slowly moving off the screen. So one of the things I have to consider with the move one, if I move one direction, in order so the sprite will kind of stay on the screen, I probably need to move back. And you can do that with just doing a negative move. So here I have, if I put a negative in front of my number, and I can change I can make it bigger or smaller steps too, but put a negative in front. Now what's going to happen is it's going to go one way and then back, and one way and back. Right, and so I can make it move back and forth that way. I can also make it turn. And so here I'm going to go back and forth between these two, so I have it turn one way and then back the other way. So I'm going to turn this one, turn this way, and I'm going to turn back this way, and I'm going to turn back this way. So these four are still in place. It's going back and forth, and then it should tilt back and forth, back and forth. Alright, so it's really easy to do this. Alright, so that's the first way, the move or turning. Second way of doing this is I'm going to change the costume. So if I go up to costumes, I'll see that there's 4 costumes associated with this sprite. Different sprites will have different costumes built in, or you can design your own. And you get these to choose them. If you choose a costume, you'll see which ones are built in, which ones have the multiple movements. So I go back to my code. And on this one, it's really, what I'm going to do is, instead of moving in a move code, I'm going to go back, I'm going to go to the looks one over here. And I want to go change between these costumes. Now I can switch to a costume and tell it which one I want, A, B, C, or D. But the nice thing is the easiest way to do this is just simply use next costume. And it's going to go wherever the costume is on now, it's simply going to change into whatever the next one is. Put the last one in. So now, what should happen is, I'm going to go back and forth, back and forth. I'm going to twist one around one way or the other, and then I'm going to actually change costumes here, going between the different costumes. So let's play this. Alright, so as you see, it's really a nice, easy way to make it move to the beat of music. Alright, once I have this in place, let's say that's as much a song as I want to do for now. So I have it animated. I want to create a rest of the orchestra. I want to have different instruments and different characters. So it's important to put the movements in first before you do the step, because it saves you time. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to right-click on the sprite, and I have a choice here for duplicate. Now, what it did was it created an exact copy, including all the code. This is the code for the first one, code for the second one. Notice the only thing it didn't copy over was the notes. Everything else is copied over. And so these are exact same. So I play this now, they're going to mirror each other. Right. So to make it a little more interesting, let's change a couple of things. One, let's change the instrument. So I'm on the second sprite here. So it's actually sprite 3. But I'm going to click here and I'm going to change this one to organ. Now we'll listen to when they play both at the same time. Alright, so they're still mirroring each other because they have the same costumes and same movement, but they're playing, they have 2 instruments playing. So let's add a third one. So I'm going to duplicate this one. Alright, this is the one with the organ. So they all have the same movement. And this one I'm going to change this one to the pizzicato. I don't think I said that right. And I'm also going to change the costume. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to add a new costume in. Choose costume. And I'm going to do, let's do this one here. Alright. So added that one in. And I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this first costume. And I'm going to add in some more of this one so I have some different movements to work with. Alright, 4 different ones. Alright, here's my costume here. And by the way, I can change the direction here so it should straighten her up a little bit. Alright, so I got 4 different costumes. So now, even though it's going to move the same way, because they all have the same movements, and I can change that one. So this, for example, let's say for this last one, I'm going to change it a little bit, change it around a little bit. I'm going to make a bigger movement, say 20 and minus 20. All right, so a little bit of change there, but they're also going to change costumes. So let's watch this one here, what it sounds like. All right. So that's basically how I can create my orchestra. Now I can change some movements. I can also change some, different costumes. I can add things, draw things in the costumes. But this is the basic idea of creating your orchestra.